Inkopolis Storytime Special!
It had been well over 2 hours into the Splatoween festivities. Our group took a while to absorb the atmosphere of the eerily decorated alleyways before heading into Splatfest battle. This was primarily for 2 reasons. 1, the crowds were chaotic and frenzied. It was the first 48-hour Splatfest to land in Inkopolis Square, and social media was abuzz with excitement. The spawn point stations were at max capacity, so many Inklings took either Uberways or the train for transportation to venues before the next map rotation. Reason 2. Ayano wanted pictures of absolutely everything possible for documentation and cherished memories. I followed her around the perimeter of the square until our final stop was a shoot with Pearl and Marina up on the grand stage. Yume opted to take her photos the second day since she was unable to finish her huge order from Krusty Sean in time for their next set list. She hastily chomped away at a ridiculously sized schwaffle adorned with candy skulls and bats. 30 minutes later, it was almost peculiar seeing Ayumi back to her chipper self when 2 Octolings and an Inkling, classmates or other buddies presumably, met up with her to form a squad for Team Trick. She frantically waved farewell as the doors to the elevator in Deca Tower closed shut, and the mechanism propelled upwards to a distant floor. The other 3 teammates gathered around her, either chatting amongst themselves or tapping away on their phones. Ayano and I waved back until the elevator was out of sight. We awaited its return. I'll admit, the events leading up to this weekend were difficult. A test of friendship, to say the least. Ayumi promised us that she wouldn't hold back what was on her mind anymore. It made me think about that night we spent at Bluefin Depot, of all the troubles and turmoil we already faced for cephalopods so young. We had much to share and even more trials to experience together. What else could I say? We were the chosen ones of our generation. Now, if that phrase sounds dramatic, I decided to steal it from Captain. He sure has some quote-worthy moments. As we continued to wait, Ayano presented a splat charger from her locker. She propped it upright on its ink tank, one hand on her hip, looking towards me with a confident expression. With such a righteous pose like hers, I couldn't tell her I wanted to go at playing long range the first set of games. I also couldn't tell her to her face that those little devil horns looked really cool with her purple-inked ponytail. They matched her Team Treat tee perfectly. Somehow, it's like she was able to guess my thoughts because she smiled widely. You know, that kind of disarming smile Octolings seem to have. Whatever. I just asked to switch weapons after our win streak racked up. That would be our Splatoween night.
About 17 matches into Splatoween, and I feel like I might have splatted myself in the foot along the way. So, long story short, I made a small bet against a couple of friendos on Team Treat for their festival candy if us tricksters won the event. I could have enough treats to last for the rest of the year without even going door to door. Maybe I'd still hit up my neighbors for good measure. It's been a nice thought while it lasted because we're seriously getting inked over here. I barely managed to super jump out of an Autobomb rush in mid. As I soar above the map, I see shimmery purple ink quickly advancing towards our home base. We're 45 seconds left in the game on Marina's latest shifty station design. The ride rails surrounding us remind me of my Octo Canyon adventures, and I feel right at home with my Hero Dually replicas. Still, looking cool isn't enough to gain a victory, although Marine might argue with me on that one, huh? I charge out of our base as soon as I land, throwing reasoning and logic to the wind. I'm wildly rolling splat bombs, quickly ducking into orange turf to recharge my ink. I'm glad I went for Sub-Saber gear this match. Before I know it, I'm backing up 2 teammates who decided to go double carbon rollers. 13 seconds to go. My own heartbeat rings loudly in my ears, my nervousness enough to drown out the blaring tune of Now or Never. Then I catch it. An Octoling haphazardly jumps to an exposed beacon right below our platform. Activating my Tenta-Missile special reveals the location of the rest of their squad. No way! I can lock onto all of them? I hear an urgent shout from someone behind me, so I release the trigger. One member on the opposite team is splatted as the countdown finishes, and I squint to see how much turf I managed to claim with that last-ditch effort. Oh, I squeeze my eyes shut, half expecting Judd to give us a disappointed look. Instead, the victory theme greets our ears. We did it! We broke our losing streak! Seems like we have a long night to go towards winning at least one category in Splatfest, but I'm feeling fresh again. Let's keep fighting on, Midori, Ayano. This is our Splatoween night. Nearly 6 hours later, with an almost equal amount of wins and losses, I already had enough battling for one night of Splatoween. This was my 5th Splatfest event since moving to Inkopolis City. Midori refused to participate in June's orange juice debacle, my first introduction to Splatfest tradition, but come to think of it, we were not truly on the best of terms back then. She eventually showed me the ropes and we both chose Team Octopus in July. So much transpired after Off the Hook's anniversary party, when I broke down in tears about beginning a new life here. Marina and Pearl supported me unconditionally and calmed my doubts. I later enrolled at Inkopolis High and wound up in the same class as Ayumi, whose secret identity was Agent 4. I learned that there was not an Agent 5. History lessons seemed to gloss over a lot of information about the Octarians, and we had so much idle time to ourselves in the classroom. The curry rice for lunch was my favorite. It is just, this life was so different already. I often found myself in the library, devoting time to learning English as quickly as I could, so no one would suspect anything odd about me. After all, we were just Inklings with peculiar new hairstyles to the citizens. That is the story Inkopolis News spun, and to this day, I still cannot fathom that others believed it. Next semester, more Octoling kids were in attendance, and I felt like I could start to be myself. Back to Splatoween. I glanced around the square, observing everyone's costumes. In my opinion, this festival was a celebration of uniqueness. Most of the colorful outfits were inspired by ancient human culture. Hockey masks, jiangshi caps, even the devil horns I chose to wear tonight. I tensed up when I noticed an Inkling in the near vicinity who had equipped the Generation 1 Octoling goggles as part of their costume. They leaned nonchalantly against one of the metal tables near Shellafresh. In my mind, I knew that these were only replicas, repackaged by Grisco as the trendy Octoling goggles. Why did they get out of such a deal anyway? My heart began to race. I never really wanted to see those again. Did they even know the implications of... My thoughts were interrupted by a firm pat on my shoulder. It was Ayumi. Phew! What a night! Team Tree is definitely giving us a run for our... ranks. What do you say we get some Tentacola and head home already? Oh wait, where's Midori? She is still trying to get even with this Clash Blaster who annoyed the carp out of us the last 2 matches. I mean, we still won, but you know her. Ayumi laughed heartily, pushing back her bangs with one hand. I shrugged in response. Turning back towards the shops, I noticed the group at the table and the goggles-wearing Inkling had departed. I felt somewhat relieved. I am thankful for my new friends and these cherished memories. The once ominous full moon shone peacefully in the sky. I would never forget our Splatoween night.
Hey, you two.
Jeez, finally! Did you get your revenge?
You betcha. Multiple splats confirmed with jetpacks, splashdown, and grim range blaster shots. The superior blaster. Poor Squiddo couldn't handle the heat.
That is a bit overkill, but he had it coming, honestly. Yikes. Remind me not to get you ticked off and ranked, would you, me?
I think that's nearly impossible, Ayu.
And Ayu? Here, 1 vanilla Tentacola just for you.
Oh, you didn't have... Thanks, Ayano.
She made sure to keep it cool just for you, too. Huh? It's nothing special.
You try so hard, Ayumi.
Looks like the metro schedule isn't up for another 2 hours. So are we good with using a rideshare service?
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Score count is still going 24/7 since the venues remain open, but I heard the square is closing for an 8-hour break.
Alrighty, let's do this. Oh, I don't even have the Uber Wave app installed. Hold on. I should probably start uploading some of these photos to FreshBook. One new update from Callie. It says, Top 5 Inkopolis Plaza urban legends that definitely happened. Scary true stories. Click here. Well, hey, you used to battle in the Plaza Center, right, Midori? Ever experience anything weird in that part of town? What is so funny, Midori? Something weird totally happened.
Alright. I've got something. This story was passed around by the graduating seniors about a year ago. The Haunting of Museo del Foncino.
Okay, that sounds spooky. Help me, Ayano. Sure.
Anyway, it never dawned on me that this building could hold so many secrets. What do you expect with all those strange artifacts collected in one place? Heck, even on field trips, the place had this eerie vibe to it. During Splatfest, music and battling was all anyone could focus on. Plus, no one ever overstayed their welcome. That is, until the art program at Inkopolis Northeast had a weekend night at the museum.
Oh no.
Oh yes, the lead of our story, we'll call her Evelyn, was always attracted to the strange and paranormal. Along the trip, she hoped to share ghost stories with anyone who would listen. When her class arrived at the museum, a boy we'll call Ray approaches her and says that he'd been listening from the back of the bus. As it turns out, he ran a blog focused on ghost sightings in nearby neighborhoods. Rumor had it that there had been sightings at Museo del Foncino years ago, although most of these tales were covered up by recent renovations to the building. Evelyn lit up immediately, and the two talked for a while, even during the scheduled tour. Ray soon revealed to her why he decided to attend tonight's event. He was searching for a specific painting in one of the galleries at Del Foncino. It was said to show you the truth, that it became a mirror between the twilight hours of 2:22 and 3:33. Evelyn asked if they had passed it by chance, since it would retain a normal appearance during the evening. She didn't want to ask what the subject of the painting was, hoping to keep it a surprise. Ray told her that they hadn't yet because it was in the West Gallery, one that was currently under renovation. He planned to sneak off and find it later that night. It would be great material for his blog after all. Evelyn felt nervous, but she decided to join him. What could possibly go wrong, right? They waited until their classmates were tired from karaoke, snacks, and YouTube videos. The time was now 1:37 a.m. Evelyn knew she might fall asleep as well if she didn't start walking to their rendezvous point, a giant sculpture of an inkling squid. Halfway there, she heard a small child's laugh echoing down the hallway. Evelyn, in a panic, asked if Ray had heard the noise when he appeared, but he told her he didn't. Moments later, they both heard the sound of heavy footsteps that sounded like they were running through puddles of water. Evelyn and Ray stood with their backs to the wall, with only the moonlight from the tall glass windows to guide them. Eventually, when they didn't hear anything else, they continued to follow their map. That's when something caught Evelyn's eye. A door slightly ajar, leading to an open patio area completely bathed in the moonlight. Ray continued to think she was still behind him, since they weren't holding hands or anything. Once outside, she heard the laugh again, but much closer. All she had to do was look up to find a giant statue of an inkling girl before her. She felt the compelling urge to take a photo of the statue. Something about it seemed otherworldly, as if it would disappear at any minute. Besides, she would be able to show it to Ray. A flurry of clouds passed over the moon momentarily, so the patio darkened. Evelyn flicked on her phone screen so she could see, and decided to send the statue's picture to her new friend in a text message. As soon as she hit the send button, there was a creepy little laugh again, but this time, it was different. It sounded more amused. Spinning around, another statue greeted her from across the room. Had there always been two of them? Were they here during Splatfest? Evelyn didn't even play Turf War frequently, so she couldn't remember. She started to slowly back towards the rotating pedestal in the middle of the patio, despite not having a weapon to help her ink and climb it. The air began to feel heavy, hard to breathe, and Evelyn thought she might pass out at any second. A young girl's high-pitched tone rang in her ears repetitively, but she couldn't understand what the voice said to her. It spoke way too fast. It looked like the statue was growing in size, but that couldn't be possible, right? More footsteps were heard behind her, and then Ray's voice called out to her. The clouds finally passed over the moon and suddenly she could see again. The room seemed normal. Ray was standing at the doorway she had entered from, phone torch in hand. Evelyn had lost track of how long she'd been in that room and quickly told him everything. He then showed her an old piece of parchment paper he'd found tucked away underneath some of the patio decor. The fading calligraphy on one side read, "These statues were made in the image of my beloved twins, Rue and Lana. I miss them with all my heart." Then, below it, in more recent penmanship, they found a note. "These statues are cursed, I tell ya. I don't know why or when they were moved from the old building. Don't believe me? I've heard them before, laughing with each other. I used to clean the southwest wing, and one night, I dropped my pocket mirror right by one of these gals. There was no reflection. I'd gotten my 8 hours rest the previous night, so I knew I wasn't seeing things. I wish I could tell those art students who visit here, don't even think about drawing those statues, or worse, taking a picture in front of them. Maybe it's too late. I don't want to imagine what might happen. I don't think they're supposed to..." The sentence was interrupted. The page ripped at the end. It actually looked like the pen had just trailed off the edge. Evelyn froze. Ray tried asking her if she had done the things the note warned about. If he were anyone else, he would have just shrugged it off. She couldn't answer him. Just then, a notification on Ray's phone came in, so she didn't have to answer. From Evelyn. 1 image attachment. Except the word attachment was scrambled far beyond that zany Zalgo text. The two stood there in silence, each left to their own frightened thoughts, until they heard something land on the pedestal where Evelyn had been. It crashed with a loud slam, followed by a click, click, click. Shadows were forming. They didn't look closer or wait to see what it was. Ray and Evelyn took off running, booking it out of there as fast as they could until they were back in the north wing. Evelyn didn't even realize she was in her sleeping bag until a harsh jolt at her shoulder rendered her conscious. She turned on her side, suddenly noticing this chilling sensation at the back of her neck. Someone stood in front of her, their yellow ink tentacles long enough to reach their pale feet. A ghostly, high-pitched whisper was heard.
"Come back and play with me sometime, Evelyn."
She never asked Ray about the painting.
What? Did she, free the ghost trapped in the statue or something? That's crazy!
I think so. Evelyn said she still heard the girl's voice at night sometimes, up until she left that part of town.
Wow, you really remembered a lot of details, though. It is a good thing we are sleeping over at your house tonight.
Nah, I've just heard it several times. Plus your eyes were closed so you didn't see my phone.
True. Everything is online these days.
Yeah, let's try to get some rest for tomorrow. Team treat as a victory to claim.
I might just give y'all this one, honestly. Ooh, I'm still spooked.
The end.